Welcome back to another episode of Cactus Plays Phoenix Wright. My name is Bobby.
I'm Kevandre.
And
that is the official title, Phoenix Wright.
Yeah. I keep on looking at it, I keep on saying you'll nail the intro this time, and I never will. We will be 60 episodes into this game, and I still won't know the title of it.
He did it once. So that's good.
Yeah, I suppose.
Phoenix Wright.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
So what happened last time?
I don't know.
Okay.
We began and ended with Gumshoe on the stand, because we were very professional.
Right, and also because his testimony taken long AF.
Right. So I think that what's-his-face, McLovin, shot at Maya and went through her sleeve into the scroll in the background.
Gotcha.
That's our general thought process. Francisca is just like, alright, so all you're doing is showing that it was justifiable self-defense. You're not saying that she didn't do it. And Phoenix is like, no, she didn't do it. Let's hold up here.
Right.
So,
gotta attack the evidence one piece at a time. You're like, this is the gunshot that killed him. Well, no, that's the one he fired. Calm down. Okay. And then, and we were redoing this with the testimony. But I can't remember exactly what was going on. Was it just him retestifying after figuring out about the hole in the kimono
yes, I
thing?
believe so.
Okay. So, okay. And then, I think a lot of this, have we seen this? No? Anyways, fuck it. Colonel, no, here. Anyways, there is quite a difference in height between Dr. Gray and the defendant. Add in body strength, and it seems unlikely the defendant could have stabbed the victim.
Now that you mention it, yeah, I guess. You think you can get away with such flimsy reasoning, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Maya Fey was in the middle of channeling, was she not? When channeling with the Curane channeling technique, the medium physically changes. With the nurse's build, the defendant could have easily been a match for the doctor. Le docteur?
Doctor?
Le docteur McLovin?
Hi, kitty cat. Anyways. I don't believe it. She even studied up on the Kurain channeling technique.
It's almost like she's a real lawyer.
Yeah, but in a day. Come on now.
Like I said before, I am perfect.
Yeah, you are.
About what you were talking about. I don't quite get it. Ellipses. Never mind. Let's continue with the testimony. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir.
So, he was stabbed, but the stab wound didn't kill him.
But if you think about the blood loss, he was probably hurt pretty bad.
How badly hurt would you say he was?
Actually, I went to give blood the other day, and afterward I felt a little lightheaded and dizzy. I guess the damage was maybe about 10 times the dizziness. Sorry.
Okay.
While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. Don't have my Barretta.
Where in the world did that pistol come from?
Carmen San Diego had it, Pilgrim. It looks like the victim, McLovin, had specifically brought it for the day.
But a handgun? That's the 21st century. We don't have those.
Unless your name is Harry Treston.
Yeah.
He got it off the black market about 2 days before the murder.
Why did Dr. Gray bring a gun? Was he taking precautions against something?
The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed.
So, you're saying that the bullet hole in this costume was made then? No, we said that.
Sorry, pal, but yeah, that's what I think. The two of them were already fighting when the shot was fired.
Maya, I'm really glad you weren't hurt.
The defendant then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it.
Yeah, his testimony certainly makes us look very bad. I forgot to press on that last one. I'm a dumbass.
It's alright.
But there's gotta be a contradiction in there somewhere. And uncovering it is going to uncover the truth. I can feel it.
Is there any
Oh, I'm really feeling it.
Gunpowder residue on the robe? Because, like, if it was, like, really close... They talked about that before, right? That's how you tell if it's point blank?
You can get gunpowder residue, and that's different from gunpowder scorching.
Okay.
But I might be knowing too much about how...
Yeah, I would assume
gunshots
don't go too far with it.
Okay. So, stab in the chest. Victim used, like, a strength to fight back. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun.
His Barretta.
Yeah. Victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. So, should I present the robes there, or do I...
Let's press on this one first, and then present the robe on the other one.
Yeah, oftentimes this leads to, like, additional dialogue that makes it more obvious what you should press on. So, Maya has never fired a gun before in her life.
The victim had already taken off the safety. With the safety off, even an amateur like you could fire it just by pulling the trigger, Pilgrim.
Even me. I wonder... Can I pull out my Barretta?
Now do you understand?
I understand what a Barretta is.
A von Karma's logic is perfect.
No, your ass is perfect. Calm down with the logic.
Also true.
Yeah. It's testimonies. Yeah, okay, we don't... gotta
It's time to eat ass and chew bubble gum.
Yeah, we know all that one.
And I'm all out of gum.
So... Yeah.
I'd say on the one where...
Two were fighting, took out his gun.
He did that gat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to be Johnny Gat? That's not a knife.
Yeah, I don't think presenting this somewhere would... Yeah,
perfectly clean.
Yes, okay. Let's try this. We got a ton of blue to spare if we're wrong. No worries. We're probably right, though. We're pretty good at this.
A ton of blue to spare. I mean, it's true. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Wait. What ton of...
I think it's funny.
Did you think I was talking about meth?
I wish.
We can just be handing out that meth like, yeah,
that's
I got
what
tons
Pearl's
of this
here
blue
for.
shit. Oh, yes, that's right. She is the drug dealer of the game. I had forgotten. Because I forget most of our jokes as soon as we're done recording.
Yeah, that's the only part I remember.
Missing the tiny hole in this costume.
I say as I completely abandoned the popo thing that we were doing. I noticed that, and I was like, oh shit, I said police.
Oh, yeah. Will be the Prostitution's undoing.
What do you mean?
This little hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point blank. If that were true, then where is the gunpowder burn on this costume?
I'm so fucking good at this game. Gunpowder burn.
This is what you testified earlier. When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole.
Well, I don't think I said it like that, Pilgrim. Oh.
But there's not a single trace of gunpowder burn on this costume. Which means...
That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean?
It means that when the shot was fired, they were standing apart from each other. Yeah. Objection! Oh, I like her little objection. That was nice.
I'm disappointed, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You think... Nope, that's not... I'm trying to do a little bit of German in there, but it doesn't really work this way. And look, okay. So I was sitting trying to learn to do like a slight German accent because I didn't want to do like the old von Karma accent. I can't do it. It doesn't sound good at all. So I'm probably not going to do that. I was going to try to just like slip in like a, they say, you know, instead of but like it doesn't sound right. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And then we were also talking about some different voices for her to make her stand out just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because we've already had a complaint that, like, no, she's not dynamic enough.
Well, okay, none of them are at first. So we'll get there. We'll develop her story eventually.
Right. We gotta wait for her to get, like, really angry in one of these.
It's a slow burn.
Yes. I agree. I do like the slow burn.
Yes. You think you can punch a hole in my logic with that? With wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone can explain anything away.
Then I implore you to disprove my line of thinking.
Let's see. In the middle of their fight, the victim pushed the defendant away. And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How was that?
Oh, then he wouldn't have missed. As if that was even possible. According to testimony, the wound from the stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant very far after that.
Well, then. That's right. The defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some space between the doctor and herself. And then, while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took his shot. There, that should satisfy even you. That does make an awful lot of sense.
No, it doesn't.
I like the way she's wagging her finger, Mr. Wright. Shut up. What do you think, Mr. Wright?
I must be careful. I can't afford to make a mistake here.
Yes, you can.
Concentrate and think. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. There is a fatal flaw in her argument, Your Honor.
Fatal flaw?
Yeah!
Very interesting. I would love to see what this flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation.
There has to be a snag in her explanation somewhere. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. And when she was about to strike, the doctor took his shot. There must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking. So, there's a number of things that I would say contradict it here. Number one, that this.
I think that's probably your best bet right there. Is like
Right.
he had to have fired from high up, diagonal, going toward the floor.
Right. So you can actually trace where the bullet went through there, about where her jacket would have been, and figured out about where his gun height would have been.
Yeah.
And you can guesstimate reasonably accurately how far apart they were, which I'm thinking is going to be, yeah. But also then the line of logic, like, oh, you know, they were so close, that's why he missed. You know, he didn't have time to really, like, pull it up and aim.
Yeah, it was just a hip shot.
Right. But, you know, if you're trying to shoot somebody 2 feet away from you, that can be surprisingly difficult because you can't get the gun right there. But shooting someone 10 feet away from you is surprisingly easy because you got a whole body to hit.
Right.
And it's easy to put the gun somewhere in that range. So, yeah. I think both arguments make sense. I'm going to go ahead and go with this one because we haven't used it yet.
Yep. Let me slurp some balls. Hold on.
You like that balls in your mouth?
Yeah, I do like the balls in my mouth.
Yeah, sweet, tasty
It's
goodness.
good for me. No sugar.
Yeah. they didn't dip the balls in sugar.
Yeah,
before.
I mean, it's traditional to do that.
No.
But you know, when you're trying to cut the sugar out.
What
you
about
gotta-
salty? Does it taste a little salty?
Well, obviously, there's going to be salt in there
Gotcha.
because otherwise there'd be no electrolytes that the plants crave.
Right.
The plant, of course, being guarana.
Oh, of course. Everybody knows that.
I think guarana is a plant.
It's a thing.
It must be a plant.
Does it?
It's not like a meat.
It doesn't.
There's only two kinds of things in the world: meat
It
and
could
plant.
be an extract, and there's more than those two things. What the fuck is
I
wrong
don't
with
think
you?
so.
I studied one of those things.
Guarana?
No,
Meat?
something that wasn't meat or plant.
What is guarana? It's a plant.
Is it just a whole plant or is it an extract? That's a weird ass looking plant.
That is a weird ass looking plant. It looks like eyeballs.
I don't care for that.
Very strange.
Why are you
It looks
eating
like a Zelda boss.
Yeah. All right. Now, why are you eating that? Why are you drinking that?
Because
Putting it all in
I
your mouth.
love balls.
Yeah, tasting its salty balls. I see how it is.
Yes.
Anyways. This is the piece of evidence that destroys your logic.
Imagine someone watching this and they don't know about Balls energy drink and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Do they have Balls energy drinks in Poland?
Like he's watching this. Like, come on now.
He might one day.
No, he's going to play them for himself. He'd rather do that. He doesn't like
Yeah.
English dubbing, so he won't listen to us.
Rude.
I know, some people. It's just Garrison.
Oh, hi Garrison. I assume you know about
He
Balls.
knows about Balls.
Okay. Garrison.
He goes to Bevmo all the time. He just walked there yesterday for more recorder leg because he's addicted.
Garrison knows all about balls, I'm assuming. He is the ball master.
Yes. But he's a fan of the chocolate salty balls.
No.
What is that? A folding screen? Let's get back on track, Mr. Wright.
I would like to point the court's attention to all the jokes we just made, and to the hole in this folding screen.
Ah! I like when she does that, like, ah.
Yeah. It looks like you already know what I'm talking about.
Who? Where? What? Mr. Wright, your explanation, please.
Are these two really that clueless?
Look, man, how long have you known them?
You've dealt with them for a while now. The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. It passed through at a height of approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means...
I measured it myself.
When the shot was fired, the defendant, was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground.
She was doing the Slav squat?
Yeah. She was doing the Russian dance.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like the dwarves do.
Yes, like the dwarves do. Everybody knows it.
Yes.
Along with Rasputin.
Yes, regular Putin. If you haven't been watching our Zero Escape 999 series, I believe it is now done on the channel as of
Should be.
yesterday.
Yes, I think that's right. It was an awesome episode.
Yeah,
really
it was
long.
great. Go watch that series. It's amazing. I would hazard to say it's a lot better than this one. But
Maybe.
I think we've been kind of distracted on Phoenix because I was in 999 mode, but it's fine now.
Yes, but we figured out that Putin and Rasputin, same person.
Yeah. And he gave the Raz to Al Ghul. So, spoilers for a good joke that happened way late in the series.
Yeah. Have fun with that.
Order! This changes everything.
Please look at this diagram of the crime scene.
How do you know all this, Mr. Wright? Did you tap into the morphogenetic field?
Man, fuck you, Judge. Anyways.
My brother Ace, he told me all about it.
The victim, Dr. Gray, was here when he fired the shot. And the bullet hit this folding screen. It hit at this location, about 8 inches off the ground. At this time, the defendant was in this area.
She must have been, like, there, right?
Yeah, like right about here?
Yeah.
There we go. Somewhere around here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. The judge's face is scrunched like he just smelled some serious bad breath. That is...
Maybe.
I mean...
Maybe he wasn't there. She wasn't there. Wait! I just realized I forgot to brush this morning. Excuse me while I freshen up.
What the fuck? Sure.
In the meantime, I want you to think things through again, Mr. Wright.
Fuck.
Okay.
We hit the wrong spot.
How did we...
Of course. Whoops. What's done is done. For now, I should focus on where Maya was at the time of the crime.
So maybe she was right in front of the screen, then.
Either right in front of the screen or, like, at the altar, where they have the things. Like, maybe right here?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. It's, like, right around there.
Yeah, let's go with... yeah. This game can be sometimes oddly picky.
Yeah.
She was standing here, near the folding screen, for no fucking reason that we can determine.
Wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground based on the height of the bullet hole. But how can you gauge the distance from that?
Math, bitch.
Isn't it possible that the defendant was standing much closer to the victim?
That's impossible.
But why?
Burn marks.
Herr Wright?
You, of all people, should know the answer to that question, Miss Von Karma. If she were shot from somewhere closer, there would be gunpowder burns present. However, there is nothing of the sort around the bullet hole of this costume.
Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You... I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing a ways from the victim when she was shot at. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation?
Yes. Because her instantly wrangling the gun away from him would have then been impossible.
Yeah, she took out her fishing rod and grabbed the gun from him with that.
Right, she had gotten the super rod last game, so that's
Right.
how she was able to do that. A normal good rod wouldn't cut it.
Right. Now, what she was doing in there with the fishing rod without any water in there is that she had recently played through Red and Blue, where there was a glitch where you could fish in statues. So she was trying to do
was
that.
there?
Yeah, you could fish inside random statues,
That's awesome.
which was pretty fun.
What, would it like clip through the effect or something like
For
that?
some reason, the statue would think that it was water.
Nice.
You couldn't surf in it, but you could fish into the statue and
Weird.
catch things.
That's pretty awesome.
Very strange, but I did it many times.
Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna say it changes everything. Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. The prostitution has claimed that the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering the final strike with a knife would be ideal.
Did she yeet the blade at him?
No. However, where and what was the defendant doing at the time?
Squatting all the way over by the folding screen?
Exactly. She forgot to go to the bathroom.
Well, ghosts can't go to the bathroom, so once they're inside a physical form, the piss just appears that they've accumulated since they died.
Yes, it's like coming out of cryo freeze in the year 3000. The first
Exactly.
thing you want to hear is bathrooms that away.
Right, and Austin Powers will pee for minutes at a time.
Yes, everybody knows that. So, if Maya Fey was the real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike?
Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense. Yeah, I figured there had to be a reason.
Figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Alright, with this, the rest of the trial should be in the
Ellipses, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
blast radius a disaster. Fuck.
You are such a smart man, Herr Phoenix Wright. To think that you've been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point. Now I know why Papa had a tough time with you. You amuse me.
Your dad didn't have a tough time with me. He lost.
Oh.
Let's be real.
He did, but, you know, like, he did alright for a while. That was a very long chapter.
Yeah, he was also a murdering bastard.
That's true.
Yeah,
And I liked him.
yeah. Of all the things to inherit, why did it have to be that smarmy smile?
Detective, how dare you damage my perfect logic? Here! How is it all my fault? You can start by repairing your standing by first removing that third strand goatee. And get under my desk.
Oh,
Oh, and the rest assured, your punishment will come later.
she doesn't like the scratchies on the thighs. That's why you grow out the beard. It's a thigh warmer.
Yeah, you just wear a mask that has a zipper in front of the tongue, and that's all you need.
Oh yeah?
I assume.
I don't think you assume. I think if I search your room a bit harder, then I'm gonna turn up with some weird kinky shit inside that closet that's right there.
I'm not gonna say you're not gonna find kinky shit, but not a mask with just the zipper in front of the mouth.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Does it have a dildo attachment for the nose?
That'd be interesting.
I've
that would
seen it.
hurt.
I've seen it.
Why would you do that?
I've seen it.
No, I don't think so.
It's a real thing.
I believe it's a real thing, but I don't think that's something that will ever make its way into my bedroom.
All right. Bigot.
But punishment. Well then, Your Honor, I think I've had all I can take of this detective's face. I think it's time to call in the next witness.
Next witness. That's gotta be Lotta.
Very
Sorry.
well. I remember the blumpkin she gave me last time. This court will take a 5-minute recess. After we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness.
Hooray! New witness time. What could possibly go wrong?
Everybody blumpkin now. Bump, 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 bump.
It turns out to actually be the aunt, and she's trying to say, yeah, she totally did it. She didn't know the techniques and all that stuff. And it's like, you blackmailing bitch.
Rude.
Or not blackmailing, but traitorous, conniving. Coup. There's a word there. I don't know
Traitorous, conniving coup.
it. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the word. Would you call somebody who does that?
Traitor?
No. Like,
True.
yeah, like, yes, but there's a better word.
Snake.
Yes, my
Metal Gear.
my Aunt Snake.
Yes.
I'll think of it. I'll
Yeah.
think of it once we're done recording the next episode, and then I'll forget it before we record the episodes next week. So, anyways,
Treacherous bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're at 25 minutes.
Do we want to call it here?
I think so, because it was a good stopping point. Then we'll begin next time at recess.
Okay.
Even though
Resave
we
there just to be
didn't really
safe.
accomplish a whole lot, except for additional lore and funny times.
Yes, there were a few funny times. I did appreciate.
So it worked out.
So yeah, let's go
Hopefully
ahead.
next time Pearl can offer some drugs in court to the judge. I'll be like, oh, very well. I love mushrooms on my pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe don't put the Tribby mushrooms on a pizza.
I usually like the portobellos, but sometimes I like to trip a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Sometimes my uncircumcised pizza requires something that looks a little more like a mushroom.
Just tripping over my own dick. Gotta tuck it in my sock.
I don't think so.
We should ask Garrison about that. I'm sure he knows.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So, anyways, on to the shoutouts. We're so dumb. My shout out is going to go towards something very interesting that is happening in the gaming community, and that is Apollo Legend is getting sued by Billy Michael, the dude who set like the King Kong records,
The Donkey Kong records?
Donkey Kong records back in the day, yeah. And then he got them all removed.
Right.
That happened after Apollo Legend did like a big video about it, questioning a whole bunch of stuff, you know, pointing out flaws in some of the videos that he did of them like changing the boards and all that stuff. That was about a year ago, a little over a year ago, I think.
Yeah.
But 5 days ago, apparently they found where Billy Mitchell had filed a claim for $1 million against Apollo Legend. And then yesterday, today, this morning, he uploaded a video going into detail about it. Now, Apollo Legend didn't really do anything wrong. He didn't call for a crusade against him. He said, hey, I have questions about this. This is the exact thing that he needs to prove to say that he's legitimate. And if he does that, then fair enough. I take down my stuff. I was wrong. That happens.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Twin Galaxies and why people don't really use it anymore.
Yeah.
It's not good, and that's why it's created all of these questions about all these old world records.
That's what I'm noticing. And
Yeah.
people are starting to really dig down deep into some of them and getting to like, yeah, the max possible thing of this game might have been this. How'd you get 0.03 seconds less than that?
Right.
You're a cheating bastard. That's why.
Right.
That
Like
was
that one racing game.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That wasn't Billy. That was somebody
Oh,
else.
some other dude, yeah, I think. Yeah.
Can't remember. But yeah, Billy has built pretty much a career out of, one, he got credit for being the first one to get a perfect score on Pac-Man, which he wasn't. But it was a huge publicity stunt, so that's what they went with. And then he was supposedly setting world records on Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr.
Right.
Which, those look to have been played on an emulator, so not accurate. They're not real. They don't count towards that.
I don't know that I agree with that in general. I think that if it is a true emulator and not like a cheated one or something, I think that's probably fine.
And some sites do allow that,
Yeah.
where other sites keep track of those Game World records. But specifically for the ones on like Twin Galaxies that he got removed from and is causing such a big stir, it has to be on an original arcade board.
Right.
It can't be on a later version of it. It can't be on an emulator or something like that. As easy as those may be to acquire, and you can use them for practice, the actual score has to be set on the arcade thing. Which is fair enough. That if you want to set the rules that way, that's what you have to set the rules by. Now, I'm not saying that that's the best way, but if you break those rules, then you don't get to be on the board.
Right.
Get a separate board that allows emulators.
True. Yeah. It's just like I've been watching highlights of Jules Conroy doing Mario 64 speedruns on his Twitch channel.
Ooh, those
And-
get weird.
I love them quite a bit. He's hilarious anyway. This isn't my shout out. But he's using a real N64 and basically just swapping when he feels like it between the American and Japanese Mario 64 carts. He's like, I feel like I do better in the Japanese one, but it takes longer to get through. So it's hard.
I was looking up some of the differences between all that stuff and why things like an emulator might not be right.
Right.
It's because certain frame rates might change.
Right. And things will load faster.
Right. So, like, especially for the consoles, the difference between PAL and NTSC and the different consoles that are designed to run those, because they're not all quite identical.
You never want to use PAL.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's always slower.
Yeah, sometimes they will set up a conversion rate if it's the exact same.
Right.
Other times the PAL version will be slowed down, including the in-game clock. And be like, you can use it, and there are very few situations where you want to do that, so that way you can pull up the trickier stuff, because it's a little bit slower.
I see.
So you get that extra little bit to get the input just right. But 99.99% of the times you're right, you don't want to. So there are differences in there that aren't obvious to most people until you start really digging down into what's very finitely possible in each one. It's fascinating stuff, man. Speedrunning is a deep sinkhole.
It's interesting.
Especially with like GoldenEye.
Oh yeah?
GoldenEye has a very large fan base for speedrunning, and it gets insane.
I believe that. Gerard's video yesterday was GoldenEye. Anyway.
Nice.
So I'm going to do a shout out to a book that actually Garrison recommended that I read.
He's got some good book recommendations.
Sometimes. And this one's called Death with Interruptions by Jose Saramago, who is a Portuguese author. Okay. And the book was originally written in Portuguese and then translated into English, and I'm listening to the English translated audiobook.
That's an awesome last name.
And it's basically about this country where 1 January 1st, everybody in the country stops dying. Like, it's not like they're invulnerable to stuff. They can still be in a coma. They can still be very sick. They can be burned to crazy and wish that they were dead. They don't die, right? So, and so far, I haven't finished it yet, so I'm not sure if there's ever described as to why this happened. But it's interesting to see the fallout from this. So it's just like this one family has this grandfather who is very old and very sick, and he's like, please let me die. And they've also got a small baby who's never going to be okay. And they're just like, this is fucked up that they're just sitting here alive for nothing. So they take them both in the middle of the night to the neighboring country where people can die, and they both die once they step over the border.
Interesting.
It's pretty interesting. And then people are just like, yo, what the fuck did you just do? That's murder, though.
Is it, though?
That's the question. There's a lot of philosophical things in this.
That's a damn good one.
Yeah. There's also a lot of things where it's just like, oh yeah, the funeral industry is like, we are fucked. So now you have to bring your pets when they die, because apparently pets still die.
Rude. Have it be the opposite.
We will do funerals for your canaries and your dogs and your cats.
I like pets more than people.
Everyone does.
But
they
except PETA.
It's really interesting, the church's reactions to it and the economy and how things are. It feels especially more relevant now when we've got questions of life versus economy going on daily during all this coronavirus shit.
You get that on Kindle?
I've got it on Audible.
Fuck, figures.
But I'm sure you can get it on Kindle.
I'll have to find the written word version of it.
It's good. I like it. I think that you would like it a lot more than I do too, and I still like it. But I think that Bobby's going to be into the implications of things from the event, whereas I'm more looking for what the fuck they're going to do.
Yes.
But they spend a lot of time talking about like the economy and things like that, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is interesting, but
yeah, one thing I have learned is that when Kevandre and I read the same book, we don't read the same book.
Oh, sure.
It's very different.
The Andromeda Strain is very interesting.
Yeah.
And if you go watch Nando V Movie's whiteboard video on his Patreon, he more or less kind of feels the same way that I felt, which is good. And everybody else in the stream too.
They're all wrong.
No. But so yeah, it was very interesting. And I definitely recommend this Death with Interruptions. It's cool.
Sounds good.
But yeah, all right guys, we will see you next time.
Thanks so much, folks.
Bye.